All right. Everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Midweek Has Beens podcast. Myself, Alan West, Evan Vaden to my right. Willie is behind the camera. And we're missing one person today, but they'll be here on the next episode. Y'all just get to know to introduce the crew real quick. So, Evan, introduce yourself to the people.
What's up? Evan Vaden, one of the three midweek has-beens. I'm excited, man. And during the day, I'm an athletic director. At night, I'm a has-been. Simple as that.
See, I wouldn't say the word has been. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I has been. More of a never was is actually the correct term. But, we'll roll with never was for the time being.
Oh, my God.
All right, man. So, first of all, I want to give a shout out, like I said earlier, to the man behind the camera, Willie.
Shout out to Willie.
He'll be here every week.
The ill will.
Tech, audio, all that for Willie. And then I also want to say, I'm Alan West, one of the other hosts of the Midweek podcast. Not a has-been, more of a never was. But, all right.
Never was. All right.
First topic, man. Do you want to get into this first, or should I lead the way on this one?
Lead the way, man. Lead the way. You got it.
All right. Well, for the first topic, I'm just gonna make a bold claim. I think that Tyrese Maxey is playing the best point guard in the Eastern Conference right now. When you look at his performance, he's averaging 27 a game. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 48% from the field, and 43 from three. And he's playing with Embiid. So who else is really playing that level of point guard with another dominant player like that? Because Tyrese Halliburton is 25, 13, 4 on 52-43 split.
Fair. That's fair.
But who else is the man in Indiana? Who else is taking the burden off of him, or is he doing everything for the team?
That's fair. Okay. I got you. I like Tyrese Maxey. I'm gonna throw that out there. I do. But I don't feel like he's coming to his own as of yet. Just because he's been sheltered behind James Harden for the last two seasons or season and a half roughly, because we all know James, whatever. We can get into that, the different topic. But I just think right now it's too early to put a limit or a limit on Tyrese Maxey. Just because, yes, he's averaging 27. Yes, he's averaging 7 assists or 6 assists.
Six assists.
But there's 3 guys that honestly I would take above him just because they've played in the system and they've proven. Well, one of them hasn't played in the system yet because he just got traded there. But I just think that.
Oh, we're going to Dame. Oh,
yeah.
I was hoping you would bring this up.
So, and this is no particular order, but I think Tyrese Halliburton, Dame Lillard. I would throw Trae Young in there, but Trae Young is so turnover prone.
And his numbers are bad.
And his numbers are bad, so that's why I'm kind of like, I like Trae, but yes, Tyrese Maxey is playing way better than Trae Young right now.
Okay.
So I'll put him over Trae. I will honestly put Jalen Brunson.
Ahead
of Tyrese Maxey. I think just because I just think he's more of the complete player when it comes to the both of them.
But what can Brunson do that Maxey cannot do? Because Brunson has Julius Randle. And if we're going to be honest, what is Julius Randle?
Julius Randle.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, Julius Randle's a good player. He's not a great player. And he can only go left.
I think the difference between Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Maxey is that Jalen Brunson is the more traditional, like he can get you in your set, like when shit hits the fan, like, okay, Jalen Brunson control the game. Right. Whereas with Tyrese Maxey, we don't know that just yet. Because it's easy just to get in a pick and roll with Embiid and call it a day when shit hits the fan. But Julius Randle, just like Stephen A says, I'm done with him. So because he doesn't have that it factor when it comes to being that second player.
So how are we gonna be done with Jalen Brunson, or with Julius Randle rather, as a player, right? Okay, so we're all out on Julius Randle, which everybody seems to be.
I mean, I didn't pick him up on fantasy, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Man, look, let's not talk about my fantasy team is hurting right now.
Throwing that out there.
Okay, we need Ja Morant back in Memphis. That's a whole nother topic that needs to be discussed on how bad Memphis is.
We can talk about my Rockets too, but that's another. It's another topic, man.
But if Julius Randle were out on him, Jalen Brunson, you're the man, right? If they're drafting the All-Star team right now, who's gonna get in? Is it gonna be Brunson or is it gonna be Maxey? And I believe it would be Maxey.
Based on numbers, okay, yes, it'll probably be Maxey. But I'll give you this one too. If you take Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Maxey and switch them, will New York have a better record than Philly?
No, because they have Embiid.
Okay, so I mean, obviously Embiid is the common the clear common denominator here.
Right.
So,
but Jalen Brunson played with Luka and he wasn't putting up numbers like this.
I mean, James Harden obviously has led the league in assists multiple times. Mm-hmm. Do you think that now that James Harden's gone and Tyrese Maxey's there, that Embiid is somewhat helping his numbers when it comes to assists and stuff? I'm not saying he can't score the ball. Obviously, he averaged 27 and just had 50 a few nights ago. That's fine. But when it comes to just being a traditional point guard, do you think that Embiid helps with that?
Embiid is going to help you be more of a fluid and traditional point guard aspect of you run pick and roll, drop it off to him. He flashes in, you dump it to him, back to the basket. Embiid's going to get you 4 assists a night by himself.
I just don't think that if you put Tyrese Maxey on any other team, would he have the numbers that he has right now?
Yes.
You think?
If you put Tyrese Maxey in Houston, he'd be the best player on the Rockets. He would be. Not Jalen Green.
Jalen Green's not a point guard.
I said best player.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I was about to say,
Jalen Green is just trash.
Anyway, all right.
All right, next topic. This is something that I'm actually quite passionate about, and I have a lot to say on this.
I have a few things to say. A few.
With Deshaun Watson being ruled out for the rest of the season with a shoulder injury, how will his performance or lack thereof performance, will it prevent anyone else from getting a fully guaranteed contract like what he signed?
I think so, and only from the standpoint of, like, obviously you're gonna get hurt. Like it doesn't matter the sport. Like, injuries are gonna happen, but I think when it comes to football, like, everybody wants their guaranteed money. So, like, Tyreek Hill was like, the only reason I didn't go back to the Chiefs because the guaranteed money wasn't there. Blah blah blah, whatever. I think a lot of these teams should really consider the fact of, like, people's injury history, obviously off the court issues, whatever the case may be, because you don't want to just give anybody guaranteed money. Like, for prime example, Brock Osweiler for the Houston Texans.
Oh man, that was terrible.
All that guaranteed money and probably stayed in Houston for a year and a half.
Yeah,
completely stunk up the place.
Funny because we ended up getting Deshaun right after that.
And we ended up getting Deshaun. But it's just like I think a lot of teams and a lot of these owners should really, like, sit down and really figure out, like, okay, is this guy really worth the guaranteed money? Like, Joe Burrow, guaranteed money, and look at him, hurt. Like he literally just left the game because of calf issues.
But Joe Burrow doesn't have a fully guaranteed contract.
But
they can get out of it.
No, but that's my point. He doesn't have fully guaranteed. But who's not to say that if he didn't ball out this season, that he was going to get a fully guaranteed whenever that next contract was up, or so on and so on and so on.
Well, Joe's a little different because he just had signed it before the season when he hurt his calf. And then you have Herbert, who just signed a big deal. And there's one other person that has signed a big – Jalen Hurts has signed a big deal. And Lamar. Yeah, they all signed big deals.
Yeah, Lamar just signed one.
Right? But we're going to point at Deshaun Watson as to being kind of like the poster child for why you shouldn't guarantee this much money, because $230 million over 5 years is a lot of money.
And he just started playing last year.
He did. After he got suspended for being the nasty man. Like, I can't I can't lie to you. What he did was nasty. But he's not the first player to sign a fully guaranteed contract at the quarterback position.
He's not.
Kirk Cousins did it 3 years for 84 in 2018.
And where did that get him?
It got Kirk Cousins another contract in 2021.
I think
fully guaranteed.
I think in order for these teams to really sign these fully guaranteed players, they need to you need to have won a championship. I just don't think you should just give anybody a fully guaranteed contract. Like there's got to be levels to this.
But how many active quarterbacks have championships outside of Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes? Yes, I mean of course you're correct, but Patrick Mahomes fully guaranteed. No, I think you and I can agree with that. Correct?
No.
You don't think fully guaranteed Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Wow.
I don't think you fully guarantee the contract for Mahomes because the biggest issue that the Chiefs are having currently is that they do not have enough wide receivers around him to be great. Well, Kelsey is the only one.
If that's the case, then we can go down every quarterback list in the NFL and talk about what they don't have.
Correct.
So we can't put that standard.
But we kind of can because when Patrick Mahomes lost the Super Bowl to Tampa Bay in 2020, right? Mm-hmm. The first thing out of everybody's mouth, he didn't have an offensive line. It's always going to be an excuse for the people that we like.
Of course, it's always going to be an excuse. But again, to be fully guaranteed, you at least need to go to the conference championship game at least bare minimum. At least.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. That that's how you feel. Okay.
So
then explain to me why Justin Herbert got the money he got, if that's the standard.
You mean to tell me you would give a fully guaranteed contract to someone who's out of the playoffs or wins one playoff game?
I think situation and circumstance matter.
Wes.
Because we've had great players on trash teams.
You can't sit here and say I'm going to give $200 million to a quarterback that hasn't made the playoffs in, let's just say, 3 years. Like you can't. Like that's not 200.
No. There is levels to it to a point.
I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm just saying.
There's levels to it to a point. But we also have to realize that a great player is a great player regardless of what team or situation they're in.
I'm not trying to take away from the player's attributes or success or anything like that. But if I'm the owner of the Texans, I am not giving whoever I'm not C.J. Stroud. I love you, C.J. Stroud, not you. But I'm just saying, like, whoever my quarterback is at that time, I'm not giving him fully guaranteed until he proves to me that, A, he can get me out of this shitty situation that I'm in. 2, he can win games. And then 3, at least get me to the playoffs, bare minimum championship game. Then I can feel comfortable, fully guaranteed, here you go, you deserved it.
So by that thought process, Lamar Jackson didn't deserve the money he got. Kyler Murray didn't deserve his money. Justin Herbert didn't deserve the money he got. Right? Josh Allen went to an AFC championship game, but that was in 2020, and they got blown out.
They got drove.
And then
he hasn't been back since, but I'm saying
that was 3 years ago.
He has that on his record though. And then
that was 3 years ago.
Did he have Diggs then?
He's had Diggs since he became good, which was 2020.
Okay, so I don't know.
You got to pay these guys. They play the most physical, dangerous sport in North America.
I'm not saying they don't get their money or whatever in any capacity. I'm just saying for it to be fully guaranteed, you have to show me something.
So, okay, would you be willing to sign somebody to a shorter term deal that's fully guaranteed? Like Kirk Cousins, 3 for 84. Deshaun is 5 for 230.
Yes, I would rather sign shorter terms.
Okay.
To see what I can get out of you. And then if you fulfill that contract or grow out of that contract, okay, then we can talk about long-term, fully guaranteed, here you go.
But how is that fair that happens to the player where we have to have a discussion based on performance? But just like Texas A&M gave Jimbo Fisher $73 million to get the hell out of here, he's going to get all of his money.
Oh, absolutely.
But the player, if they don't perform, gets cut. They don't get their money.
No, I think it's the fact of like, okay, you're paying for performance, right?
Correct.
Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator just got fired because of what? Bad performance.
It's mainly Josh Allen turning the ball over.
Okay, and I have Josh Allen on my fantasy. You need to get your shit together. I think a lot of it has to do with performance. Mm-hmm. So like, hell, the real world, if I don't do my job, I'm going to get fired.
Correct. But are you going to get paid?
No, I'm not.
Exactly. So how is it fair, again, that these coaches get $70 million to go away, but the players get nothing?
Is it ass backwards? Yes. But at the same time, you have to show me something to get the full amount.
So if the player outperforms his fully guaranteed contract, so then can we restructure it to where he, instead of making $50 million, he's making 70?
For a fully guaranteed?
I mean, if he outperforms his contract.
I mean, the way that this money's going, I wouldn't be surprised. So, I mean, play like you see it every summer or every off season.
That's very true.
Like biggest contract in NFL history, biggest contract. Like it never fails. So it's like the money is gonna be there regardless. Mm-hmm. But are you gonna perform to that standard to get X amount of dollars?
I agree to a point. You have to perform to a certain standard, but again, I just find it insane.
You can't be out here being hurt. You can't
be hurt.
Well, okay, let me take that back. Obviously, injuries happen, so I'll take that back. But like, you can't just sign the contract and just act like, okay, I'm gonna just sit here and.
Well, obviously now you're gonna get cut in that aspect. You're gonna get cut. But if I'm out here playing, I get injured. My team does not perform as a team, just like Deshaun was down here in Houston. That defense was god awful, and he was putting up crazy numbers. Absolutely. Is he not performing to the extent that his contract says he should perform?
Yes, and honestly, if he didn't do what he did off the court, the Texans would have gave him that contract. I do believe that.
5 for 230.
Yeah, because Texans are dumb.
Because he was gonna go
1,000%. Yes, they would have.
Because when he wanted to leave Houston, he was gonna go to Atlanta.
Yeah, and what
for the same contract that he was already on.
So how come he didn't go to Atlanta?
Because Cleveland came and offered him the 5 years, $230. Atlanta was just going to trade for him at his contract he was already on.
And once he signed that, what has he been doing? So if I am the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, what have you done for me lately? Other than cause problems off the court and then be hurt. Which he's can't control being hurt, but at the same time, it's like, what have you done? Did they go to the playoffs last year?
No. He only played 6.
He only played
6 games.
What did I sign you for 230?
And he's just coming back from his best half of football all year. 14 for 14, 100-some yards, a touchdown against the number 1 defense in football.
Wes, you mean to tell me this man, 1, he was suspended.
Correct.
2, he only played 6 games this year?
5 games last year.
Or 5 games last year. And then 6 this year?
Yeah, because he got hurt.
And I signed you for $230 for nothing, basically?
You didn't sign him for nothing. You didn't, because who would have been a better option for Cleveland? Baker Mayfield?
Listen, obviously Cleveland is just not where it's.
I mean, well, the only person.
Let's just be clear here. It's not like we're talking about the Chiefs, or we're not like.
The only 2 people that's ever won in Cleveland was Jim Brown and LeBron James. But
if I'm the owner, I'm just saying, I signed you to this $230, and I've barely seen you on the field, and I haven't made the playoffs.
Correct. But that doesn't mean that others shouldn't get a fully guaranteed contract because Deshaun has not been good. That's just a bad business decision.
You just got to show me something. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, Deshaun, get healthy, get back right, and y'all NFL owners, stop being cheap.
Earn your money. Go earn your money.
Stop being cheap and sign these players to fully guaranteed contracts.
Earn your money.
They don't get health insurance after the first 10 years of being retired, which is ridiculous because eventually their bodies break down. They have CTE. There's a lot of problems with the NFL structure, and it really stems with the NFL Player Association. Y'all gave up health benefits to be able to smoke during the season. That's probably one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard in my life. Y'all got to do better, man. Do better.
Go earn your money.
All right. Next topic. This one's going to be a fun one.
This should be very interesting.
How do you feel about Draymond Green being suspended 5 times for choking out Rudy Gobert? I'm not gonna lie to you, Rudy. You look real lame getting choked out like that. You got to do better.
Honestly, we can make an argument that his teammates didn't do much of nothing because he's getting. Never mind.
No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I think Karl Anthony Towns, like, that's your teammate. My shit was off. That's rough. Okay, never mind. My bad.
Damn.
Redo it. All right. Ready?
Keep going.
All right. So, I think with Karl Anthony Towns, you are seeing your teammate get.
Go ahead. Say it. Just say it.
You're seeing your teammate putting a full fucking Nelson, and you just don't you don't engage. You don't try to address Draymond. Like, what are you doing? Like,
when have we ever known Karl Anthony Towns to do anything to stand on business?
I am just saying, like, you just
like when
it looks so bad that he's literally like hugging Draymond and like, get off of him. I'm like, dude, like if that was me, I would put Draymond in the chokehold too, because you're not just gonna choke out my teammate like that.
You're right.
Like there's no way. Anyway,
but Cat don't do nothing to real niggas. You heard about what happened with Jimmy Butler, but keep going.
Let's just get back to Draymond. I think it's well deserved based on Draymond's history, and I think the NBA did the right thing because it's again Draymond. What are we doing here, Draymond? Just please help me understand. Are we playing football? Are we playing basketball? Are we playing rugby? Like, because what you're doing is just completely out of line. Completely just like it's just non-negotiable at this point. And the fact that Steve Kerr and the Warriors keep defending this man time and time again, it's extremely sad at this point. I think it's well deserved. Draymond's obnoxious. I'm not the biggest fan of Draymond. Regardless of the 4 championships he's won, I really only give him credit for 2, but we can talk about that later.
2?
Yes.
2.
I really only give him credit for 2. But this is we're not talking about rings. We're just talking about Draymond's antics. It's out of line.
Draymond gets credit for 5 rings. Because it's 2016.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't get suspended. They're not losing that series. But that's another thing.
Anyway.
Okay. Draymond Green. Draymond. Where to start with Draymond? Okay. In the last 14 months, Draymond Green has punched Jordan Poole in the face.
I forgot about that.
got Jordan Poole traded.
I forgot about that.
Punched that boy in the face. On video. We seen the video.
On video.
We go through the year. Draymond gets 16 technical fouls, right? He's suspended for a game.
Suspended, yep.
Then we go to the playoffs. In the first round of playoffs, what happens? He stomps on Sabonis.
Yep.
Now we come into this year, and you choke out Rudy Gobert.
And he got ejected from that Cavs game for pushing Donovan Mitchell.
He did. So at this point, Draymond, are you really a basketball player, or are you an enforcer at this point? Because your statistics tend to tell me you're just an enforcer.
Like Charles Barkley said, he's averaging a triple single.
9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, not a steal, not a half a block. Like,
but we also can't hold Draymond to the fact that he needs to be a scorer. Obviously, that's not what he is.
Can we get some rebounds?
But yes, can
we get some assists?
Can we get something other than getting ejected every other game?
Can we make a 3-pointer?
You know.
Can we do anything outside of what you're currently doing? And Draymond, I'm gonna defend you on why you did what you did. Because I'm going to defend Draymond.
Whoa,
I'm going to defend Draymond.
You're defending Draymond?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I got to hear this.
Yes, I am. Okay, wonderful. ISO. Everybody, look. If me, Evan, Willard, we're all on the same team, and one of y'all gets into a fight with somebody on the court, and then one of their teammates comes and even touches you, I don't even care if they're trying to push y'all apart. I'm going to do something to that person that touched my teammate because that is my teammate that's out there getting into it. And we're going to sit here and act like Jaden McDaniels didn't do nothing. Klay Thompson started it, but Jaden McDaniels definitely got his lick in on Klay Thompson.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
Rudy Gobert gets choked out by Draymond, who's defending his teammate. And then what you said earlier, what's even worse about it, his teammates didn't do anything. Anthony Edwards stood there, Karl Anthony Towns, oh, get off of him. Oh, no, get off of him. He's trash for that. There's no way you're going to be my teammate and I walk back in that locker room and we're all good if I just got put in a chokehold and the rest of y'all just stood around and watched it. We're not going to be okay at that point. Like, we're going to have a problem. That means you don't respect me as a man nor care about how I look as a representation to you, because now when people look at our team, we're looked at as a weak unit. Like, we're not together because we let one of our own get choked out by somebody that can't eat, that really shouldn't even be on this court at this point anymore, if we really want to be honest. Draymond should just completely go to doing what we're doing right now and leave it at that. But go ahead. I'll let you go for a second.
Like, the fact that you defended him, I agree to an extent, but there's also a thing of taking it way too far. Mm. If you look at the video, you clearly see Rudy Gobert pulling Clay apart.
Correct.
There's no ill will with that. He's trying to. He's also in a state of mind. I have to protect my teammate too. Let me separate them.
But he put Clay in a chokehold.
Clear across the court. Not even just ran over there. He jumped.
Yeah.
he jumped over.
Yes.
And put him in a chokehold.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Why are you touching my teammate?
I get that to an extent.
You're not going to touch me. I promise you, Evan, I'm not going to let nobody touch you because we're going to have a problem.
I understand that, but I'm also – the only reason I feel like I would put somebody in a chokehold if you and I were playing on the same team, if somebody put their hands on you. And what I mean by that is like y'all getting ready to square up. Then I'd put somebody in a chokehold.
Right.
But if it's just a little pushing and shoving, because obviously we know in the NBA they're not going to actually fight. So if it's just a lot of pushing and shoving,
not unless you Isaiah Stewart.
True.
Trying to get at LeBron.
I just feel like if there's nothing outside of pushing and shoving, you should not be trying to put somebody in a full Nelson like Melvin did Jody and Baby Boy. Like, that's just like, that is just absolutely wild. There is no way that's okay. There's no way, and you can't sit here and say that that's okay. Like, it's just,
it's terrible.
Draymond, listen to me, please. Your antics are out of control. I understand that you are a second-round player. I understand that you got 4 rings, Defensive Player of the Year, and you're probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Fine, whatever. But people are going to remember you from all the bullshit you've been doing, too.
Draymond,
cut it out.
I stand with you. Don't touch my teammate. And plus,
that's fine,
now what you've done, Draymond, and that I really peep and that I respect, you have set a psychological standard in the Timberwolves' mind that not only can we play with y'all when Steph is healthy, because Steph wasn't even playing in that game, but we've also shown that y'all are weak. Y'all team not together. Y'all don't play for one another. The stuff that Jimmy Butler said was true about you, Karl Anthony Towns, because repeatedly you have shown us that you do not stand on no type of business when it comes to you being respected as a person, as a man. Like, eventually, enough is enough. You got to have people stop doing this stuff to you, because people keep punking you and your teammates.
Here's my
except for Anthony
thing.
Edwards. Ain't nobody messing with Ant, but Ant is a different beast.
Yeah, Ant's different. But so here's my last thing with Draymond. On our old podcast, Domino's Talks, right? We talked about how when Draymond called KD the B word,
correct,
right? And how we thought that he should have been traded at that point. Since then, punch Jordan Poole, etc., blah blah blah. If I'm Steve Kerr and Warriors ownership and higher up and stuff like that, I'm thinking, okay, what is this guy doing for me at this point? Like, should we move on from Draymond?
What is Clay doing for us at this point?
Now, yes, Clay is shooting completely terrible. He's been hot garbricio. We can obviously put that on the table.
Clay needs to go, and Draymond should go.
But if you were given those 2 players on your desk and said one of them got to go, who are you choosing? I know who I'm choosing.
I'm choosing Klay Thompson.
You are out of your goddamn no, sir.
From a
no.
It's a business. It's a business.
No.
It's a business. If I'm trading a player, I'm gonna trade Klay.
Klay before Draymond.
Klay is going to get me more than what Draymond's going to get me. Draymond's going to give me a second-round pick and a pick swap. Like, what am I going to do with that?
Okay, no, my
What am I going to do with that? At least he can set screens and he can pass the ball to Steph. He can let Kuminga run up off of him off of backdoor picks. He can get Wiggins open for threes. Like, Draymond is a more versatile player than Klay. Klay is no longer a two-way player. Klay is a liability on defense. He's not shooting the three well, and he's never really got to the basket like that. So now all he can do is make open shots and be streaky.
You would really trade Klay.
I would trade Klay. I'm gonna get a good player for Klay Thompson. Draymond
based on all of Klay's injury history and really?
Draymond Green is going to get me a future dentist and a 7th grader. Like, what am I going to do with that? Like, nobody wants Draymond Green. I really want y'all to look in my face and know how serious I am about this. Nobody is going to want Draymond Green. Like, he's got to go. Like, bro, I love the fact that you're a champion. You a dog. But my man, like, at this point, brother, I ain't going to lie to you. The fact that they didn't let you go to Detroit looks worse and worse and worse by the year, because you even got benched in the NBA Finals. And you was guarding Robert Williams and you got benched. Like, come on, man.
So, even with all that said, isn't it easier to get rid of Draymond?
No, because you're not going to get anything.
Hold on. But you do realize that this offseason, Portland was willing to give him $100 million.
Portland?
Yes.
For Draymond?
Yes.
I would have let him walk in a second.
But the only reason he didn't is because, one, Dame was already trying to walk out of the door.
Correct.
And
you could have got Nurkic.
Yeah, but I don't think that there was any other team interested, because I think that's the only team he went to go visit. That actually was like, hey, like, we want to try to sign you for.
You could have went got Nurkic, Malcolm Brogdon.
I'm just saying, like, Warriors do the right thing. Try to get one more championship out of him on, while he's riding Steph's coattails, whatever. But then after that, cut ties.
Y'all
cut ties.
Y'all get rid of Draymond if you want to. Get rid of Draymond if you want to. You're going to have perfect teeth from the dentist that you're going to get back. And that 7th grader got to wake up in the morning and go to PE tomorrow. Like, what are we talking about? Do not trade Draymond. Your best to trade Klay, keep Draymond. Do better. Because both of y'all looking old.
So who would you replace when
anybody.
Okay. So
anybody.
Who is Klay's replacement? Like, if you like let's just say they're both free agents.
Anybody that can move side to side at this point.
For Klay?
Klay cannot do anything offensively. Like, do you want to know the reason why Andrew Wiggins is so bad right now?
Because Steph has been hurt.
No. Because the year they won the chip, Klay was coming back off of his knee injury, and Wiggins was set up to be the number 2. Now they're forcing Klay to be the number 2. Wiggins slides down to the number 3, and when Chris Paul comes on the court, he becomes number 4. Yes. So you're suppressing his game, and he's the second best player you have on that team currently.
So then why don't you package Draymond and somebody else?
You're packaging Draymond, I'm going to say it again, for a dentist and a 7th grader. Like, what are we
I think the dentist and the 7th grader has more common sense than Draymond at this point.
The 7th grader hasn't even hit puberty yet. Like, and this is the type of person you want to try to bring in to an organization full of grown men that are driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Like, man, stop it. Okay.
Listen, Draymond.
Evan, just keep going, cause you know what, Klay, you got a defender. You have a defender in Evan Vaden. All right. If you ever want to come play in middle school basketball, come find Evan Vaden, because clearly,
come on, Klay Thompson.
He loves you.
Come on.
You're playing worse than Jordan Poole. I wonder if that was the right decision to make. But go ahead. Worse than Jordan Poole. Look at the numbers.
No.
Well, okay. We're going to have this debate again in a few weeks, and we're going to see how that goes.
We'll talk.
And all right. Okay, we're definitely going to talk. And just like Anthony Davis's eyebrows, we're going to close out the podcast today.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. First episode, me and my guy Wes right here. We're missing the third amigo, but he'll be here in another episode.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, check us out.
outro usually do afterward. Yeah. Like, can we wait a minute? Will it keep it rolling? I have something else I want to talk about. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. See, now I'm fully awake.